So since my last review was the really expensive Oribe, I'm taking this review on the opposite end of the spectrum and decided to pick up a few things from Target that are in the more affordable range. Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm a licensed hairstylist with over 20 years of experience, and on this channel I use those 20 years of experience to help you have healthy, happy hair. So as I said, I picked up a few more affordable items. I picked up this mousse from OGX, and it's called the Decadent Cream Mousse. And I've been trying to try out a lot more mousses lately. I used to use mousses back in the 80s and early 90s, and then kind of got away from them for a very long time and stuck with gels, with only using a mousse occasionally. So I'm trying to try out some more mousses, and I've really been enjoying trying more mousses again, so I don't know why I ever stopped using them in the first place. And then I also picked up the Marc Anthony Strictly Curls Curl Defining Lotion, and this says that it has humidity shield. And even though I live in a very dry climate, it's actually raining outside and we have lots of humidity, so I'll be able to test this humidity shield for a change. So I know it's kind of weird that I'm picking two different brands, and normally I try to try stylers within the same brands, but I kind of went through and looked at some of the more highly rated things on the Target website and wanted to pick a few things up just to kind of see. And so that's why I picked out both of these. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply these products, show you the results after I've applied, after I've diffused, and then as per usual, I will also show you how they held up for days 2 and day 3 without me doing any sort of refreshing, so that you can get a really good idea as to how these products perform on their own without any sort of help along the way. So now that I have my hair sectioned, what I usually do is I section from ear to ear, then I do another section around the middle, and then I do the top section. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this curl cream. And it's kind of weird. It's kind of a creamy yellowish. It's almost more of a gel kind of texture. It's definitely thin and a little bit on the watery side. And now this says that it has vitamin E and silk protein in it. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get started on my brushing technique. And what I do is I just grab vertical sections and go through like this. Smooth it all out. And then I go up from underneath, and instead of like brushing forward or back, I go under and I trap my hair between my finger and my brush to get tension. Then I shake it and put it back. And the reason why I turn it under as opposed to turning it either forward or backwards is because my hair curls in all different directions, and by turning it forward or backwards, I might go against the direction and then it'll do something wonky. This way it's far more likely to just fall where it's supposed to fall or where it wants to fall. So I'm just gonna go ahead and continue doing this, and I'm gonna cut the video off here just because it does take a while for this process to happen. And I do have other videos where I show me doing this and how I kind of do each section, but I always go about 90 degrees from my head when I'm brushing out. So I'll do out, out, and then up on the top, and then that helps keep it from getting stuck to my head and helps to give me some volume while also defining my curls. So now that I have all the curl cream in, this is what I've got. I've got some nice clumping and definition. I don't see any frizz so far, so that's good. And now I'm gonna go ahead and apply the mousse. And this is what we've got going on. And this mousse is kind of on the denser, creamier side. It smells pretty good. It smells kind of like coconut, but I believe it does have, yeah, it has coconut oil and shea butter in it. So I'm not surprised that it smells like that. It's definitely clumping up quite a bit as I'm flinging it all over my bathroom. It's clumping and giving me hold as I'm putting it in, so that's pretty cool. And you can see it grows quite a bit, which keep that in mind if you don't want too much of this in. You might want to try to do a smaller amount, which I should have done, but yeah, it takes a little bit to work this mousse in because it is dense. It is a little bit on the creamy side, but that's okay. That doesn't bother me. I'm just pretty amazed at the extra clumping I'm getting and that it feels like it's kind of already got some hold to it, which is very promising because I like me some pretty hard hold products. And I am dropping it all over my floor. And this is the mousse applied, and as you can see, it just kind of really accentuated the clumps that I already had and caused it to clump up a little bit more. It already feels like it's kind of holding, so I have high hopes that this will survive the diffusing process, but we will see. I will go ahead and diffuse it, and then I'll be right back and show you the results. Okay, so this is my hair completely dry, and I'll give you a close-up so you can see what we've got going on for frizz. It's not too bad whatsoever. There's not really a cast, it just needs a little bit of fluffing and some oil, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use my typical Verb Ghost Oil, so 1 pump of that, and just smooth it over the top. And so far the lack of frizz is pretty impressive because it is really humid out and raining, and so it seems to be doing pretty good. And then I'm just going to kind of scrunch this into the ends just to kind of break everything up a little bit and to get the oil into the ends. The only spot that I see that's a little bit wonky is right here. Maybe I didn't have enough product there. So this is my hair with the serum and with a good fluff, and it was definitely a really good fluff. This stuff is really good for volume. I've got quite a bit of volume, as you can see, and as I shake it up a little bit more, I might even be able to get it to get a little bit more volume. So yeah, this is giving me some pretty good volume. Of course, what happens then is you can see I'm getting a little bit more frizz from kind of shaking my hair all up like that. So my hair feels really, really soft, which is really kind of nice. However, that kind of worries me because usually when it feels this soft and it kind of feels like there's nothing on it, so that kind of worries me as far as hold goes. Typically when my hair feels this soft and this light without and feeling like it doesn't really have anything in there, it doesn't last very long. And this didn't have a cast, so that's usually something that doesn't work out well for me either as far as hold goes. I really, really like a good hard hold. However, I'm loving the shine and the definition and the curls that I got and the volume that I have. I really like this volume a lot. So we'll see how it holds up. It is supposed to be humid here and rainy for the next couple of days, so that'll be really good for testing out the humidity part of the Strictly Curls Curl Defining Lotion from Marc Anthony. So that'll be a good thing to test out, and good weather to do it, since ordinarily we don't have this kind of weather. It's usually pretty parched here in Colorado. So I mentioned previous that the Curl Defining Lotion has silk protein in it, and then the mousse has coconut oil and shea butter. It also has like a couple of other ingredients. It does have silicone in here. So if you're somebody who doesn't like to use silicone, there is definitely a silicone in here. There's polyquats in here. There is shea butter. There is also castor oil in here. So there's a lot of things in here that my hair really likes and really agrees with. And I think between the protein in this one and some of the ingredients in here, my hair is absolutely loving this combination. And I really think that it's this that gave me all of the nice volume. So, because I was feeling that as I was scrunching it in, like I could see it start to kind of clump and hold and perk up my curls quite a bit. I noticed that while I was drying it too, and then just shaking it out and fluffing it out, we've got quite a bit of volume going on here. So we will see what day 2 and day 3 brings. However, as of right now, I think that they both earned their status as being highly rated on Target. I think they had like 4 and almost 5 stars each, which is why I got each of these and from different brands instead of getting the matching curl cream or the matching mousse with this one. Those two things didn't have as high of a rating, so I decided to try to get these and see what these would look like together based on the rating, and just, you know, experiment and play around. I'm not a one brand type person, so I typically do stuff like this where I'll just mix and match. So I thought it was kind of a good thing to come on here and mix and match like I typically do, instead of using either one brand wash days or using stylers from only one brand. Not that I won't do those in the future. I will still do those, but I just kind of wanted to play around. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow. Here we are on day 2, and this is what my hair is looking like. And let's take a close-up look to see what kind of frizz we have. And it's actually not too bad at all, even for like what my normal day 2 would look like. But it is still raining here, still really humid, and my hair, I would have expected there to be a lot more frizz than what I see now, considering the humidity, and it's not looking too bad. Yes, there's some frizz, but overall, not bad for a humid, rainy, really gross day. So, and then as far as what my curls are looking like, I still have nice, bouncy, defined curls. I do have some stretched out curls in some spots, and I've got some wonky bits up front, but it's nothing too horrible, and I think overall my hair is actually looking pretty good, considering that the mousse didn't really feel like it had a ton of hold, and I still don't feel like it's got a lot of hold, but yet it's still kind of holding up not too bad. So I haven't really fluffed it up or anything like that. This is just kind of what it's been doing so far today. So let's just go ahead and give it a good fluff. And just like yesterday, or even more so than yesterday, I have quite a bit of volume, and I am definitely liking that about this mousse, is that it really does feel like it gives me a lot of wonderful volume and bounciness and lightness. So I do really like that. And like I said, it's holding up not too bad, and the frizz isn't looking too bad considering the humidity and the rain and all of that. So as of right now, I'm pretty pleased with what I'm seeing, and I look forward to seeing what it's going to look like tomorrow. Like I said, it's not perfect, and it's not holding up as well as some other things that I've tried, but it's not doing too bad either. So I will see you tomorrow. So here we are with my kind of crazy day 3 results. So day 2 held up pretty well, but I kind of feel like day 3 dropped the ball a bit. So I'll get close so you can see all of the frizz up here, and it is still pretty humid. It's no longer raining, but the humidity is lingering a little bit. So I suppose considering the amount of humidity that's in the air, this isn't too bad. However, the other things that I'm looking at is, yes, I have some of these nice kind of still defined curls, but I also have some that are quite a bit stretched out, and this has gone, this was the bit that was like straighter on the first day, and now it's even more so. And yes, I have looser curls kind of right here, and then I have straight hair at the nape of my neck, but this is even straighter than what it typically is, that it does actually curl, and this is completely gone, so that's been straightened out. I have had worse day 3s. I do have some nice volume, which is great, and I do think a lot of this can be fixed with hitting it with a little bit of steam or doing a little bit of a refresh, that kind of thing. However, I don't like to typically do refreshes. I like to put more time and effort into my wash day routine and then have my hair look good on day 2 and day 3 without me having to really do any sort of a refresh to it. That's just how I am, and I know that I have products that I can use to get me there, so that is my preference. And then if I decide to go past day 3 and go on to like day 4 and day 5, then that's when I'll usually either refresh, or more likely I'll just pull my hair up into one of the hairstyles that I did on one of my previous videos, and I'll put a card up here if you'd like to see what those are. But yeah, so this is definitely something that I would feel like I would have to do something with, and it didn't hold up quite as well as what I had hoped, especially because it did look really good on day one, and it even looked pretty good yesterday. I mean, like I said, I have had a lot worse on day 3, but I've also had better, and I would like to see a little bit better. And this is kind of what I was concerned about with the hold of the mousse. I didn't think it was going to have enough, and it definitely didn't have enough to get me here. And see, this is another thing that I've got. Now to give my final review and final thoughts. So I think when it comes to the Strictly Curls Curl Defining Lotion, I feel like this did give me some nice defined clumpy curls. And I really like that it has protein in there. That definitely helps my hair. My hair happens to really love protein. And I do think that this is actually pretty good in the humidity, and I'm glad that I actually had some humidity here for me to be able to test that out. I really don't think this is a whole ton of frizz considering just how humid it has been the past few days here. Like I said, it was raining for the last 2. Today it's not raining, but there is a lot of lingering humidity and I can feel it in the air. Yeah, this is actually doing pretty good considering that level of humidity. So, and I have seen even more frizz than this on days that aren't humid with different products. So I do think that this does help to a certain extent with the frizz control. And then now for the mousse, and it even says on here, locking plus coconut curls. So I mentioned that it smelled like coconut. Well, I mean, Michelle, come on. It's like, could I have just completely ignored the big writing at the top that said coconut curls? So yes, it says decadent creamy mousse, and I agree. I liked how creamy it felt when I was putting it in. I liked the density of the mousse, even though denser mousse is a little bit more difficult to distribute and get into the hair. I do really like that because I feel like there's just a little bit more to it. So not that like foams or less dense mousses don't do anything, because the Oribe mousse is much less dense than this, and it's an amazing mousse that I've already used a couple of times since I did that review. And this is actually a pretty decent mousse. I would probably use this with something that has a little bit more hold. I might just spray a little bit of my Aquage working spray on the top of it before I diffuse, and I think that might help get me to day 3 a lot better, because I liked the way that this kind of further enhanced and encouraged the clumping, and that it felt like it was giving me hold and perking up my curls as I was applying it. Like it was just kind of, I was scrunching it and it was just staying there instead of the weight of my wet hair pulling itself back down. So that I was really impressed with. So this mousse is definitely something that I will be playing around with a little bit more in the future, because like I mentioned, I've been trying out a lot more mousses so I can make a video about my top 5 favorite mousses so that I can make recommendations to you guys for mousses. And I've actually been really enjoying trying out all these different mousses to get there, because even though I have used mousse off and on over the past several years, I don't use them as often as what I did in the 80s and then the early 90s. And I am definitely enjoying using mousses again. So I did like a lot of what this had to offer, and my hair still feels pretty good. It does feel a little bit like it's getting a little bit dried out, which is kind of weird, but because I don't think there's anything in here that would really dry it out. It's not horrible though. I mean, it feels pretty good. This is not something where I'm feeling my hair and it feels like straw. It just doesn't feel as nicely hydrated and moisturized as what it did on wash day. So I don't hate this. I actually really like this. I do think that the Marc Anthony curl cream is a pretty decent curl cream, and I do think that it kind of helped with the humidity to a certain extent. So I do think that both of these are pretty good options for the more affordable end of things. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and conclude my review and end this video. If you like this video, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. If you'd like to see more content like this, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit that notification bell while you're at it so you know when I upload. And if you have any questions, comments, or you would just like to say hi, please go ahead and leave a comment down below in my comment section. And as always, thank you for watching. Bye.